Be careful, stabilize your business in these tough times, and then begin to look at how to use the tools that are available in a way that assists your business, doesn't necessarily have to revolutionize your business. Look at business building is a progression of continuous improvement. It's not a moment that every year you have a revolution in your business.
Hello and welcome to a whole new episode of Engati CX. I'm your host Chandni, and we're really glad to have all of you join us today. On this show, we talk to CX and tech experts from around the world. We explore, uncover, and share fresh insights on creating experiences that your customers will remember and look forward to. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code digital CX platform available across 14 channels with 45,000 solutions created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc. magazine, Tech World, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, video channel, and the Engati CX podcast, receiving upwards of 4 lakh visitors annually. And now, for our guest, Stephen Bederman is the president of Noble Biz. He's an analytical, highly adaptable, transformative leader with extensive experience in strategic planning, organizational development, innovative resolutions, and problem solving. He is highly regarded as a Renaissance businessman globally and is the author of an Amazon best selling series of corporate thriller novels, including The CEO, Executive Execution, Business as Usual, and Connections. Welcome to the show, Stephen. We're really excited to talk to you today.
Hey, thanks for asking me on. I look forward to talking to your audience and seeing if I can share some of my knowledge and share that with your audience.
That sounds amazing. But before we dive into our interview with Stephen, don't forget to subscribe to Engati and tap on the bell icon below to get access to exclusive content from thought leaders from around the globe. So, beginning with the interview, Stephen, since we've officially entered the connected era, how will the emergence of 5G and IoT empower contact centers? And do you think it'll help in creating a refined omni-channel experience?
Yeah, I do think it will help, although at the moment, I think, in fact, sometimes it causes problems because many, especially in North America, North America is not as advanced in 5G as you may find in Asia or other areas of the world. So it isn't as adopted yet. Let me give you a quick example. My own mobile phone is 5G, and when I changed to 5G, it slowed everything down. It didn't speed it up, it actually slowed it down. So it's really a matter of our infrastructure adapting. I think you'll see every month it improves, and I think that you'll see that it's a critical piece, though, in terms of being able to use a wide range of broad channels in the effort to communicate with people. It's absolutely the next step.
Absolutely. And I think with more advances in technology, the process will become smoother and even better.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, it's not different for any new technologies. The idea of the technology and the prototypes of the technologies always are exciting, but then it's always about the infrastructure and how do you make sure that the infrastructure is stable and that everybody's using the same platform. And once that happens over X amount of time, it's an important facet of what we want to do as we move forward.
Absolutely. So, moving on to our next question, Steve. In addition, we're also entering an era of highly empowered buyers who prefer self service. So, do you see contact centers implementing more self service mechanisms?
Yeah, in fact, we're Noble Biz is a manufacturer of contact center solutions, so communication tools. In fact, our tool is that we are out in the market with and people enjoy is called Omni Plus, and it's an omni-channel solution. The reason today, even during the pandemic, it's really taking off for us is probably 10 years of effort in the multi-channel environment, where people began to play with different approaches and different channels. So those channels are there for what reason? They're there to ease the ability to communicate on any level that a client wants, but also because consumers are using tools like Facebook, like social, that although they get to communicate a lot, they also get to remain somewhat anonymous, and they're used to faster forms of multiple communications going on at the same time. That just leads to the self-serving or the need for self-service, because self-service has been available through contact centers and businesses for quite a long time. You know, you can call your airline and make your ticket, check your reservation. You've been doing that for many years without having to speak to someone unless you ran into an odd question. But today, self-service allows the consumer to keep that track of their communication going while they're doing other tracks at the same time. And so I'll tell you, I was reading recently an article, actually this week, on innovation and what is to be expected in the contact center world. And self-service is right there at the top. Listen, we have the tools to do it. Speech technology, AI is all built already into it, and it's just now it's not the consumer to adapt to it because they want it, it's getting the actual contact center to be willing to use it. Now, contact centers, one last point, they want to use it because it reduces their overhead in terms of agent investment. You know, without agents, they can still do the transactions. And, so it's a balance between cost effectiveness. So there's a high motivation for everyone to want to do this.
Absolutely well said, Stephen. So what upcoming trends do you see in 2021 for contact centers? And do you think we're going to see more remote or virtual contact centers, or are we going to go to the normal post the pandemic gets over?
Well, the worst thing that happened to the world was a pandemic. The best thing that happened to contact centers relative to adopting new technology was the pandemic, because it insisted that people had to go home. They couldn't sit in a room with 500 agents. There's just no way to keep that group safe. They can't wear masks in a contact center because they're speaking to people. So inevitably they had to get home. So the first necessity is for the home environment to be able to handle the virtual environment. So bandwidth is a critical piece of that. Other though than bandwidth, anybody can go home with contact center solutions like an Omni Plus, and they can go home and they can log into their computer, their laptop, even their phone, to tell you the truth, and they can work as an agent. So all the tools are there today. Is it going to remain that way? Yeah, I think it is. We talk to contact centers all the time, and I would tell you the first 3 weeks of the pandemic, when everybody went home in March last year, we saw traffic really drop. Now remember that NobleBiz, in addition to manufacturing of contact center solutions, we're a carrier. So we get to see millions to billions of minutes of traffic and how it flows. And we saw an immediate drop of about 20% of traffic in those 3 weeks. After those 3 weeks, as the contact centers adjusted during that time by going home, whether they wanted to or not, they inevitably rebuilt almost to where it was last year in March now, the same level of traffic. So I think they're going to, now that they have the business, they know how to adapt to it. Why go back to the big infrastructure?
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of businesses, not just contact centers, have adapted to a new way of working. And I think they've been getting the same benefit from it. And that's really great.
I will say this. It's not a black or a white. It's probably a hybrid for people. So even in my own business, and we have hundreds of employees, and hundreds of our employees went home too, and they're still at home today. Will we close our heart offices around the world or not? We won't. We will reduce them. We will have some innovative flow of employees in and out, but much of our business can be done effectively in a virtual environment. And one last thing you get as an advantage in contact center is as soon as you're comfortable with that environment, that virtual environment, and you see the benefits of cost reduction for yourself, but still the ability to manage, you're going to feel that you don't need to do anything but start hiring people all over the world. And that allows for a much more integrated, broad workforce, which then allows contact centers to take on more business all over the world.
Absolutely. That's a really amazing idea. So moving on to our next question, what metrics should contact centers watch for success?
I'll tell you, that's one of the clear things that you're going to see here in 2021, which is a strong focus on the metrics. On reporting robust reporting is a critical piece of that. But here's the thing. If a contact center today has a wide range of channels where they can communicate on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on video, on email and chat, and you name any mode you want to, then you have to measure that. I mean, the reason that the change from multiple channels to omni-channel is specifically driven by the idea of capturing the entire context of a communication with a client in no matter which way they communicate. So the measurement of that then is the outcome. And if you can accept that people can go home and now you can reduce your costs by being a virtual environment, now you say to yourself, okay, yeah, but I need to know what's going on. I need to know how to optimize that environment, and I'm going to really focus on my robust reporting. And so the metrics of how many people and which people and how do they want to communicate becomes the issue. So I may have a database of 100,000 people I'm communicating with, and 10% are just committed to communicating through Facebook. Another 20% just committed to WhatsApp, and on and on and on, or direct voice channels. And you have to know how to do it. You don't want to just start reaching out in all different channels, hoping to just reach somebody. That would be distracting and obtrusive. So it's really about metrics.
Absolutely. So since human interactions are filled with unstructured data, how can contact centers filter through and understand these pieces of data?
Well, I'll tell you, speech technology really works wonders in that, and AI, which by the way is AI anymore in the contact center world, isn't really a wow feature. It's a necessity and used oftentimes in terms of the ability to sort through the conversations and find out what is pertinent and important in those conversations. So picking out keywords, picking out phrasing, picking out the recognition that through the context of the pulling out that data, you're able to then understand and target much more clearly. And understand this, that the key to all of that data and finding what's important in it is really the way you get efficient. It's the way you don't interfere with people's lives, but you communicate with them when you need to.
Absolutely, Stephen. This is really, really thoughtful. So, before we wind up with the interview, Stephen, any thoughts that you would like to share with our audience?
Well, listen, I've been in this industry of contact centers and communication for decades. I'm very involved. I started out many years ago as a contact center agent myself when we called it telemarketing, and worked through dialing 100 calls a day myself to building the automation that goes with it into today. And what I would remind any contact center, really any business, is in terms of what I've seen, is you don't have to rush to anything. Make sure your business is stable. There are great tools, like Engati has great tools and NovaBiz has great tools. Just make sure that you don't over-adopt. Just be careful, stabilize your business in these tough times, and then begin to look at how to use the tools that are available in a way that assists your business, doesn't necessarily have to revolutionize your business. Look at business building is a progression of continuous improvement. It's not a moment that every year you have a revolution in your business. It's stability that we all look for.
Absolutely.
But the tools are here. The tools are here.
Absolutely, Stephen. And as you said, it might not revolutionize your business, because a lot of businesses started adapting digital transformation because others were doing it. And it's not necessary that if it works for a business, it might work for yours as well. So that is really something people need to keep in mind before going ahead.
Exactly. You're right on point.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stephen, for giving us your time. Your insights were really valuable, and I know our audience is going to enjoy this interview.
Well, I appreciate being asked, and look forward to any future interviewing you need to do, or just here as a friend to the community.
Absolutely. So we'll be back with a new episode and a brand new expert soon. So stay tuned, and we'll see you around for the next one.
Thank you.